Hi there. Thanks for joining today's training on the Virtual Event Management module. My name is Kendra and I'm part of the employer team. The Virtual and Events module is a separate paid module for our premium partners who would like to have a more streamlined experience for a true end-to-end recruiting cycle. The Virtual and Events Management module is comprised of three primary elements. One is the ability to check in students at any type of employer-run event or career fair. We used to call this event check-in before we built out the full module. So you may hear this interchanged, but know that this is one portion of the Virtual Event Management module or VEM module. The second part is the ability to use Handshake embedded video for your employer-hosted events, as well as the ability to record your events or sessions for career fairs. If you've already reviewed our career fairs training, you'll know that virtual career fairs offers the option of Handshake embedded video to every employer, regardless if they have the VEM module or are a premium partner. However, for employer-hosted events, VEM is necessary to have Handshake embedded video. The last piece of VEM is comprised of a scheduling tool, which allows you to create your own employer-hosted interviews or quick screens using Handshake embedded video or the option to use an external video. Let's walk through these three components now. The first will be the ability to use Handshake embedded video in your employer-hosted events. So similar to when you're creating a new event, you'll see a new option if you select virtual that allows you to select Handshake embedded video or a Handshake video session. A key note on Handshake embedded video is that you have a maximum of 50 participants at a time, including hosts. With Handshake embedded video, you do have the ability to have multiple hosts or co-hosts and can change this at any time. The number here will just dictate how many attendees you can have. So with a maximum of 50, if I have 3 team members participating and hosting the event, I can have a total of 47 participants outside of my company. With the embedded video, using the Virtual Event Management module, you can also request that students check in for the event when signing up and attending that session. There are a few elements that you can ask questions throughout in the event check-in piece, and we expect to build more questions for this module in the future. Once you've gone and created your event, you'll always be able to go and launch the second part of the Virtual Event Management module outside of the video by launching the check-in piece. So if I have an event coming up, I'll have both the RSVP tab and the check-in kiosk set up. Before the actual event, I'll want to do one of two things. For physical events, I can print a QR code, and for virtual events, again, I'll have the ability to set up the kiosk and have students check in. With virtual programs, you'll simply need to go and launch the kiosk and save it, and we'll show you that in a moment. With virtual events, the kiosk will already be set up and you'll just need to save your settings. Because you will have already selected that students need to check in when they launch the video, there's not a redirect that they'll have to worry about at that time. For those where you're hosting events using any kind of check-in, you can also go to your RSVP tab and download all student information for those that checked in, or just simply sort by them. This is possible for both employer-hosted events and fairs. Now let's talk a little bit about career fairs, given that all employers have the option to use Handshake embedded video, regardless if they have VEM or not. Again, this is only for career fairs. For those that are going to use the virtual event management module, there is an added benefit for career fairs in that you do have the check-in kiosk, and in addition to this, you will have the ability to record your sessions if needed. This is specific only to employers that are using the event management module. Otherwise, it will just be an option for you to use Handshake video and have 0 recordings associated with that or check-ins here. The last part of the virtual event management module is the scheduling tool. If you've gone through trainings on our various user roles, you'll know that you do not need to have a premium seat as an individual user in order to participate in a schedule, but you do need to be an employer that has the virtual event management module. When you have this module, you'll see the scheduling tool, and you'll have the ability to create your own schedule. Think of this like your own embedded calendar that will link up so students can go and book a one-on-one time with you for either quick screens or interviews. So it's really a scheduling tool within the greater use of Handshake. You have the option of using the embedded video because you have the virtual event management module, but if needed, you can also use the external virtual options if for some reason you're unable to use the Twilio options. You'll again have the ability to record the sessions if you would like. The recordings will be sent to the individual who creates the session via email. And you have an option to select either quick screen sessions or interview sessions. These time blocks are fixed and unable to be changed at this time, but you can select if you'd like to have back-to-back 30 minutes, 45 minutes, or 60-minute or 15-minute sessions. You'll then go and set up the date in which your meeting will take place, from what time to what time in what specific time zone, and you'll go and put in the details of your session. So it can be something like engineering interviews or quick screens. Let's go ahead and do interviews that are 45 minutes long, and we'll set up our block description. This will be available for students either by the employer sharing out their schedule or the employer proactively placing a particular student into the schedule. And I'll show you what that looks like in just a second. Okay. Once your schedule is created, you have a few options available. For all of your blocks, you can go and add an interviewer, so someone from your team who will be hosting the interview at that given time slot. You can also mark certain times unavailable so that if a student sees the schedule, they don't go and select a time you do not wish to have anyone meet. The first step would be to make sure that your time frames align with your expectations. And if you already know candidates that you would like for very specific time slots, you can invite them into this particular flow. You'll be able to search by first name and confirm by email. Or you can go and invite students by copying a public invitation link and sending it to them through either bulk messaging or for the time being an other campaign. This newer feature is in progress to having its own campaign type available and will be updated as soon as that feature is finalized. So that is how you would go and invite the candidates. But to review who will actively be participating, you'll go to your Candidates tab. And this is very similar to the RSVPs tab that you've seen for both events and fairs. The key difference here is that these will be individuals that have signed up for your interview slots, where you can search by a few additional filters, like labels that you've attached. And you can always go and preview the user's profile. One final feature that comes with the virtual event management suite is the ability to evaluate candidates that are participating in your events and fairs. Right now, this functionality is really designated for those that are in the RSVP tab. And if you have the VEM module, you'll have the ability to go and evaluate candidates by clicking next to their name, and you'll have the ability to evaluate them on a scale of 1 to 4 and add in notes that can either be public for you and the team or just personal notes. The notes will then be downloadable when you go and download your CSV of your candidate profiles. If you have any questions on upcoming features for the virtual event management module, reach out to your team or the product team, and we'll be happy to answer that. Thanks for joining.